frustrated. I really am frustrated.
To be honest, there's never a blueprint to the amount of adversity that one will face when they are chasing their dreams or when they're creating a new piece of work, whether it's a new piece of music, a new design, a new piece of software. There's an incredible amount of adversity. There's no roadmap.
Right now, I've taken a moment away from my teammates so that I don't say things I will regret later on because of my frustration and because of my anger.
To be honest, a lot of things went right and a lot of things went wrong. So let's start with the bad stuff. Let's start with what went wrong.
My frustration is not being heard or is not being listened in terms of the pace at which we are moving, and also some of the administrative constraints and other pressures related to the admin of this project that are upon me, making sure that we have all of the receipts that are in place. We have gone over budget, significantly over budget, and it is understandable because already with the money that was made available to us through the grant, yes, we already knew that it's not enough and we are gonna have to do like the skeletons of this startup, the skeletons of this project. But even those skeletons cost more than I had hoped they would. Anyway, that's the country that we're living in. Things are very dicey right now. Prices are changing almost daily. So it was expected and at the same time not hoped for.
Outsourcing the actual videography and the actual documenting, we felt that we should focus on the actual design and building of the project and let other people do it, which, to be honest, was a grave mistake, a totally grave mistake, because instead of the reality style footage that you would normally have where guys follow you about while you're doing your work, these guys would only show up when we called them, and at times they wouldn't show up at all. They would show up and they would leave their camera off. And it got to a point where we had to compromise between, in fact, we had to make a choice between either building the Airborne Renegade before Shoko Festival or chasing our videographers, even though we had paid them. That went very wrong.
And yes, woodwork is happening. Hopefully it will come out.
It is coming out. How can you say it's not coming out? I'm building it. It will come out. It will work. No, you think this is not work. This will work.
I'm having to use my cell phone right now because I was hoping that the videographer would be here today, but they're not here, so we're gonna have to deal with this footage from my phone. They're not so great audio and all of that, but I think some things just need to be documented so that I guess we are making history. This is, part of the documentation process, part of the things that we're gonna have to, I guess, learn from. Where I'm learning from this. This is some of the frustrations, I guess, that come into being project lead, into kickstarting a startup, because what started off as just a gaming booth transformed into a pilot project, and now we're a startup. So I'm hoping that when I leave my little confessional booth, because that's what I'm calling this, the confessional booth, some things would have moved. Some other things that are frustrating me right now would have started to sort of like smooth out. So wish me luck.
Other things that at times went wrong, where there were instances where we kind of overlapped in each other's responsibilities, because naturally there are three creatives, and creatives being creatives, sometimes creative vision and creative control is not exactly the same across the board. But that worked out well at the end of the day, because like I said, we had some form of understanding creatively that allowed us to work past our differences. Other things, I won't talk about the negative comments in the social media section. How dare they create this thing? Why are you even bothering to do this? Why don't you just outsource the software from China? Why are you doing it? But the thing I say is, why bother dreaming? Why? Why wake up? Why live life? Without passion, we're nothing. And I'll say this for all my three content creators. Everyone was passionate, everyone was driven, and sacrifices were made to get this project to the point where it's gotten.
I think I have calmed down a bit from my frustrations from earlier on. So, yeah, hopefully, tomorrow we'll have things going on. But at least tomorrow, Phenomenal Lighting team is coming in, and we had a meeting with them yesterday, which was Friday. I had a meeting with them, sort of like explaining the vision that I have for the booth, since we are limited in terms of our budget, because the lighting, we actually had to find a separate budget for that. But this is a labor of love. We are passionate about what we are doing. We are excited about what we are doing, and we are so grateful for the resources that have been availed to us to make it work. So I'm glad that at least we are able to sort of like supplement the things that are missing, or some of the shortfalls that were there in the grant, so that we just get things to happen, at least with some level of excellence.